0 to 60 can define a performance car, but it's the fastest 60 to 0 that's the aim of Terox brakes. From road cars to race cars, circuits, special stages, or the autostrada, nothing reduces speed like Terox brakes. Italy gave the world the art of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Terox has given drivers the art of stopping. For more information and to acquire your own masterpiece, visit terox.co.uk. Yes, it's me, Mike Stone, and this is the Backseat Driver Podcast. It's the fastest, it's the friendliest, and it's for all the family. The Gas Shocks 116 Trophy and 120 Coupe Cup are the fastest growing race series in the UK, taking in 6 one-hour races and 8 sprints at all the top circuits. Visit 116trophy.com to find out more and get yourself behind the wheel. Yes, it's me, Mike Stone, welcoming you to part 2 of the Backseat Driver Podcast Classic Le Mans Special 2023. I'm here with one of Backseat Driver's regulars, I think it's safe to say a regular, John Lomas, Blue Diamond Riley Services. John, welcome back to the Backseat Driver.
I know, Backstreet Driver on tour. Very good to see you out here in the sun.
Now, you're at Le Mans, but just for a novelty, you're not competing. You're not behind the wheel. You're looking at everybody else's wheels as such. What is Blue Diamond's and yours? Why are you here?
Yeah, so I've got a figure for rallying, not for racing. So that's why I don't do. I was built for comfort, not for speed. So we're here supporting Ralph Emmerlin in the Riley 9 Brooklands, and then also helping out Keith Pointing, who does consultants for us, who's running AVC, one of the works, 12.4s. Challenging day yesterday, should we say. It's motor racing, so our customer's car did 2.5 laps and then basically had an engine problem, so unfortunately that's out. So we're now kind of switched into helping Keith and enjoying all the sights and sounds of Le Mans. So hugely gutting, customer's gutted, we're gutted, there's nothing you can do. Mercedes-Benz can't get 2 things to go round and round in a circle every 2 weeks, and they've got a 9-figure budget. So that's, we're dealing with 86-year-old technology, and things can and do go wrong. But it's just, we're all quite a bit flat today. That's why you saw me yesterday when we were waiting for the recovery truck, and I was a bit like, can I talk to you later? Yeah,
you were definitely a bit hyper yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah, because, this isn't modern telemetry. You haven't got all the data logging, so we sat there watching split times, and then it comes up and it says car 19 stopped at Marshall Post 9, and you don't know what's gone on. You don't know whether the driver's injured, you don't know whether the car's on fire, you don't know whether the car's got a slight problem, and you've got to sit here and wait till it arrives back to be able to interrogate it. And annoyingly this year, I think because they're so busy, they don't recover it back to the paddock, they drop it somewhere, so that we then had the joy, ignominy, whatever I call it, of pushing the car back through crowds of people and then working out what it is. So, but do you know what? That's the lows of it. That car's won the Index of Performance a couple of times, so you celebrate and commiserate together.
I mean, these cars are from an era when the things you've just described, when they happened back then, the teams, the mechanics had no idea until the car reappeared in the pits.
No, you don't. You just have to wait, interrogate the driver. The one good thing we've got on this, the owner runs a GoPro, so we can then start to look at things like that. But you are trying to understand what's gone on and trying to fix it. But you're also dealing with technology that's 80 plus years old. Your modern car, my modern car, doesn't run a dynamo. It doesn't run carburetors. It doesn't run cable brakes. It doesn't have white metal. You're inherently dealing with things that are superseded. So, it's more now about watching friends go around and having a beer and enjoying the sights and sounds of Le Mans, which are completely unique. And
I was just going to say, what is it about Le Mans? It is classed as the greatest race in the world, which it is and was. For all these years, this is the 100th anniversary, though there's only been 91 races due to things called World War II and the French going on strike, which they're very good at, but it's still one of the most incredible races in the world.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's the endurance factor, which obviously it is a big thing, getting your car around and doing it. It's the sights, the sounds. It's so French, you know. You kind of have a guy with a whistle and a 250 short wheelbase driving past a pub with a load of people having a drink. It's the drive down when you're getting into convoys of everything from pre-war to modern supercars, and everyone's flashing each other out, and it's an experience that I don't think you can define. Goodwood is phenomenal. It's a lot smaller, so you can get around it quicker, which is a benefit. But this is just brilliant. And as I say, the other beautiful French thing is, you know, we've got team passes to allow us to get places, and then we get told, no, it doesn't end in a zero, you can't get anywhere. And you're like, what? And then you can just wander through a different gate, and no one says a word. But you know, it's a little piece of home for a while. And where else can you listen to Group C racers and the Bentley that won in 2003, and then watch a 1926, 28 Bentley drive around? I mean, it's just epic.
Yeah, I mean, there is like you said, well, I mean, we are in France, but it is uniquely French in how it operates and everything else. But, I mean, like, back to the cars, I mean, a lot of the cars that you run, and a lot of the cars here, the old ones, lots of the cars are still original, aren't they? I mean, it's 80-odd-year-old componentry still trying to do its stuff. Yeah, that's it. You know, there's certain things you do. You have to replace cranks and rods and pistons, but inevitably it has to be generically most of the car it was. And also, you know, these certainly the car behind the AVC, you know, that ran in period. That was here in 35, I think it was. So, you know, those kind of cars ran, did it, experienced it. And what I always find amazing is it's not like the modern Group whatever supercars. They drove here. So they drove the cars from Cricklewood for Bentley. They drove the cars from Coventry for Riley. They did the 24 hours, then they drove them back. I mean, can you imagine Lewis Hamilton, good as he is, getting in his car and driving it from Brackley to here to drive it back? Albeit, I know he's not a Le Mans driver, but yeah, it is the greatest race. It's the greatest show. Nice to see it on the other side, but watching it, but wanting to be out there doing it and enjoying it. You know what? That's the way it goes.
I know you've said you're not a racer. I mean, I'm not a racer anymore. Like you. I do rallies and things like that. They're a lot more comfortable to do, in theory. But I mean, have you been out? Have you done a lap here?
I did actually do a lap with my late father. We came well before Blue Diamond. We came, I think, in 2014. So Dad and I went round in his Imp, and I drove. And
that's a Riley Imp, not an Illman Imp.
No, it's the first Imp, as I always say. So yeah, we did that. It was interesting because it absolutely persisted down. It was like being back in Ramsbottom. And the other bit of comedy was we're in the car and we were just paid to do 2 laps as a club, but we were out with the Dodge Viper Club of France. So all you'd got for the first, I don't know, quarter of a mile was boom, pop, 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 and I was like, what's going on with the car? It's making all these funny noises. We let all the Dodge Vipers go, and then we just enjoyed it. But I think, for me, I'd possibly like to start a bit of racing, but I'm quite content with the rallying, and I'd need to come back half the size, otherwise I need a 6-cylinder engine. But you know, it's different. It's very focused for these guys racing in pre-war because there's no, you know, there's helmets and there's overalls, but there's no hands device, there's no seatbelt, so it will sharpen your mind. I talked to a friend of mine, Ewan from Kingsbury, who does the Bentleys, last night. First time he's raced here, he's a very quick driver and a very accomplished driver. He's doing 110 miles an hour down the Mulsanne Straight and can hardly see anything. And he said it wasn't for the corner markers, you just go straight on. So there's a real skill set for the pre-war stuff doing this. And, you know, you are in the hands of the gods and your engineers and your mechanics and your skill.
I know I was talking to one driver of a very old car, and he said a lot of the time on Mulsanne, you're on your own. You're just pottering along quietly. He said all of a sudden you get to a corner, and where have all these cars come from?
Yeah, very much so. And that's what I also find the greatness here is you've got the Works Talbots that are exceptionally quick, you've got Bentleys that are quick, you've Astons that are quick, and then you've got people driving around. There's a guy 2 pits up from us in Austin 7. He could almost be driving around with an open face helmet, a cigar, waving at marshals. So that's a skill set for drivers with different speeds. But I guess that Mulsanne will be a lonely place on your own. But then also you've got to pinch yourself and say, I'm driving this. You know, like what an amazing place to be at. Just like for me, when we're out on the pit lane, I'm just a bloke from Ramsbottom. That's just amazing. Never forget how good it is to be there in and amongst it and watching those cars and experience it, whether it's 2003 or whether it's 1923.
I mean, you mentioned Milan Mulsanne. I mean, the other night, how dare I went to buy a packet of cigarettes, and because the circuit was closed, because the racing had finished and qualifying for the day, I drive down Mulsanne Straight, or Hunaudières as it's called, to go and buy a packet of cigarettes. It is a piece of normal road.
And I think that's the other beauty with Le Mans as a concept is, it is back to those days, like at Monaco, it's a road. We'll close it off, we'll do this. And it's Reims, it's all those, it's the glory days of the old way. And I have friends who've done it. They've been down on holiday with their parents in a caravan, and they've driven down the Mulsanne Straight, and you can say, I've done it. A bit like you can't necessarily do it now, but I remember the first time I did the speed limit plus VAT with my dad, and you say, right, I've done a ton. Ooh, that's fantastic. And there's still a bit of this that is jumpers for goalposts, the old way of doing it, which is fantastic. It's if you've never been, you have to come. For me, I've never done the modern Le Mans. I think that's a different experience. But this, as a sporting event and a festival, offers you everything. Whether you like 50s cars, 60s cars, 2000 cars, 30s cars, you can watch it all. In each one does 3 sets of racing. So I'd recommend it to anyone. Fair trek, but my God, what a trek it is from the north with all those cars on the ferry and at the services, and yeah, brilliant.
I mean, the other thing is you mentioned the cars. I mean, whilst you're driving in, there isn't a car, a make of car, a model of car you won't see. No matter what you turn up, if you turn up in what you might think's your own flash car, you'll soon get brought back down to earth, won't you? Because they're all out there, they're all driving around on the public roads.
Exactly, and if you came here in a Nova GSI, you would be exceptional, because everyone's got a 911, everyone's got this. But I think for me it's that shared love of petrol, so you can have as much fun in the journey in. So last year I was very lucky, I came out of an Impreza Turbo, I came out in that, it was epic. This year I'm going on holiday after the event down to Portugal, I've come in my wife's 1.4 Polo GT, and yes, I'm sat there thinking, oh, I'd love to be in a ride, I'd love to be in this, but I had as much of a giggle changing lanes, flashing people out, jumping in a little convoy with people, saying hello, and that, I think it's, if you like petrol, you will like it here. And the person who's come in the McLaren F1 will have as much of a chat at the petrol station to the guy who's come in a modern Corsa SXI, if he's got the stickers on the back or he's got the shirt on, and but car park wise, it's immense. I dread to think the insurance policy value for what's in here. If a bomb went off, if a nuclear bomb went off, yes, it would be very disappointing. But also, there'd be a lot of people going, right, hang on a minute, there's 3 of those, 5 of those, 10 of those. It's, but it's not done in a way that's ostentatious. It's done in a way that is wandering the pits. The pits and the paddock area we are, the Parc Fermé is open. You can see now there's a little rope in between a car that's worth £500,000. It's just a rope on a carabiner. Yeah. It's not F1 where you sat watching someone as a Sabutio figure going round. So I think that also engages the next generation in our sport and our hobby.
And the other thing is, the cars here are here because they are used. They're not sat in a museum. They're not something that gets polished and put in a showground. They are on show in the paddocks, but later on today they'll be out doing what they were built to do. They're not show cars.
Definitely not, and some will come on trailers, because if they're race cars, it's not always wise to drive it here. But they are cars that are used. You take the Benjafields Bentley race where they've got something like 75 or 80 Bentleys running around. 40 of those came down on the ferry in convoy, driven all the way here. We'll do the event and drive back. So it shows you they can do that road mileage. Yes, if you're into the modern stuff that's Group C, you're not going to drive it down because it's not road legal, but they are cars that are used, and often that gives it something that's just a bit special as well. It's not a show pony, but it's the variations. We sort of 1 o'clock this morning we were out supporting, and we take two knock-on wheels and a sort of hand toolbox, and then next to us is the endurance racing series where the guy has a quad and like a train that's about 40 foot long of tyres, computers, jacks. And he looked at us and I looked at him and I was like, well, ours is, two of us could carry it, that's it. They need 12 people to run it. And that shows you how motorsport's changed and all the things. We're not data logging, we're not, when the car goes wrong, we have to wait for the driver to come back and say what happened. Whereas they're going, oh, hang on a minute, he just needs to knock his tyre pressure down by half a psi because he's not handling that Porsche S's right. So,
well, there's one thing we can safely say: when you open the bonnet here, it's got an engine. You won't find any batteries.
No. You can hit it with a hammer or a Glaswegian spanner, and you can. But again, also the spirit of the event. When we found we got problems yesterday, 2 French guys came along, gave us a leaflet, and said, "We own a workshop that is 10 minutes away. We keep it open for Le Mans with milling machines, CNC machines, full engine rebuild workshop. Whatever you need, give us a shout." And that's that spirit of competitiveness, of going there, and that's a beautiful thing to have in motorsport. Just like we have friends we're with TTP Performance at the moment, they're running something in Plateau 3. We're camping with them. Now we're not supporting our customer, if they need help, we go and do it. And that help can be mechanicking, go and get in the beers, go and get in the pit board. You work together, and it's a real family environment, whether you're running old stuff or new stuff.
John Lomas, Blue Diamond Rally Services, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. It's been nice seeing you here at Le Mans, because normally it's in my dining room recording a radio interview.
It is. For the management, I would definitely recommend this is a much more salubrious environment. Your dining room and your lounge are fantastic, but the more we could do out here, the better for both of us. But great to be on and great to see you.
Once again, John, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
I'm here with Pierre. We're sticking with Pierre because apparently his full name is too complicated to say. But Pierre, welcome to the Backseat Driver.
Hello everyone. I'm just starting my first Le Mans. It's just amazing. It's crazy. What an enjoyment.
Why the first time? Why is it taking you so long to get here?
First of all, I'm restoring pre-war cars, and I wanted to acquire, I would say, a quick pre-war car. So it means in the latest years of the 30s. And I got that, this is, the choice is between the Morgan, the Riley, the LV, the MJ, but at the end of the day, I could have an opportunity around an HRG. I don't know how you pronounce that in English.
HRG.
HRG, okay. And I was liking that car because it was a rare car. Now consider really as a pre-war car, even if they have been manufactured just after the war. And it's a quick and very interesting car in terms of handling, and there is a lot of potential around that car. So the good thing about that is that the HRG is eligible for Le Mans, which is a must. And I wanted just to have a quick rally car. I say, I have a race car. Why I will not do racing? And I understood that the pre-owner has already registered it, which means that I could have an early bird price, which is, however, much too expensive. But because I got it at a good price, I integrate that engagement in the price of the car. So making it a package and having some coherence between having a quick car, a race car, and making racing.
How long have you been racing?
I would not say that I have been really racing. It's in pre-war we are mostly in demonstration in France. So I was participating to Angoulême, les Remparts. I wanted to go to Pau, but it was already a very quick thing. I used to go to the Vintage Revival in Montlhéry, which is a fantastic exhibition. A live museum, and every time we have been really in demonstration. It's really the first time that I am making racing.
So how do you find Le Mans? Because, it is a race. Well, we're here to celebrate the 100th anniversary, though there hasn't been 100 races. But, it's a legendary race. In my opinion, it is still the greatest race running today, the moderns, but the historics. How do you find the circuit?
It's a symbol, first. It's you are just very humble, you know, when you enter in that thing. It's a very quick race. I mean, it's full throttle in third, full throttle in fourth, and you just understand that there will be a curve when you see just a panel about braking, you know, because it's so long. It is those 13.6 kilometers that sometimes you just drive alone, and suddenly you have three in front, you have three in your mirrors, and you don't understand why you are not alone anymore. But it's very surprising for me that to anticipate a curve just because I am seeing panel about the number of hundreds of meters that I need to select to put all my weight on the brakes.
Now, at Le Mans, there's been some of the greatest names in racing. I mean, you've just been driving on tarmac, that's some of the greatest names in the world. Do you ever think about that?
No, I take care of my ass first. I mean, I was scary, and finally the adrenaline make you quit that mode, and you go on. But I mean, you are in. I am losing my word in English. I'm sorry, but this is so much symbolic, you know, and there is so much history. And I wanted to participate to that 100 years century because I will be late for the second 100 years. So this is a unique experience. Perhaps I will not come back. I just don't know, because it's a big thing, because it's expensive, because perhaps I don't have the level of income to make that every 2 years, and there is cheaper thing to do. But to have done that once in your life is just a gift of the life, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's the legendary corners and the legendary straight Mulsanne. I mean, nothing brings Le Mans to life like the word or the mention of Mulsanne Straight.
I don't know if I catch all that.
It's Mulsanne. I mean, there's nothing quite like Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah. It's damn quick. It's damn quick. And thanks God they make two curves, you know, in order to slow down that straight line. And even if you go fast, it's long. It's long. And I have the chance of a car, I don't know, in MPH it's a little bit more than the 100 mph that car is going, but yeah. It's still a long way to go. I mean, 13.6 kilometers it takes time. It takes time. So the question is to be below the 8 minutes to make this. But I still have a lot of improvement to do in my trajectoire.
Cornering.
Yeah, in the cornering, especially when you are alone again, because you need to think really where I go in, where I will go out, and you are sometimes very surprised, but just because of the grave, which is coming very fast, and you block the wheels, you make mistake with your gearing, and finally I just had once to put in second gear. But you know, that crazy thing here is that the first time you race, which was the first time I was running in Le Mans, is qualification. I mean, it's a kind of selection, huh?
And it gets faster in the race, it gets faster. You will be faster.
I will be faster, and it's where the danger is, because I don't have any more fears, which perhaps I will sit in the sand sometime later. I don't know. We will try not to do that.
Well, Pierre, what is your full name?
Lambert.
Pierre
Lambert.
Right. So, but yes, Pierre Lambert. Or Lambert, I dare say.
Lambert, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me on the Backseat Driver. It's been a pleasure, and I'm delighted that you've enjoyed your first time here at Le Mans.
Yeah, and you know, at our age, it's very difficult to find the first time of something. But for sure, a first time is not something you forget.
Very true.
And and then to reach that first time now, it's delightful.
What else is there left for you to do for the first time?
Beep.
Once again, Pierre Lambert, thank you very much for joining me on the Backseat Driver.
You're welcome, and thank you for your interest in a beginner. And I appreciate your presence here, and to make all the noise possible around this event, which is fantastic.
Thank you very much. I'm here at Classic Le Mans 2023 with Vincent from Swickstill. Now, a lot of you might realise or have noticed that in a lot of my promo images I'm wearing a brand of clothing called Swickstill. And this is the man who brought it back. He gave it a new lease of life from when it was at its height, 1950s, 1960s. So Vincent, welcome to the Backseat Driver.
Well, thank you, Mark. I'm glad to be here.
How did the recreation of Swickstill come about? Where did you get the idea from to bring back an old brand of clothing?
It was mostly an inspiration from American Racing, the book from, with Denise McLuggage and Tom Burnside Pictures. But again, a long love for everything classic related. And the idea that that period was not recognized for what it truly deserves. A little bit like, Mark has done for the other Mark, has done for Peter Collins, a recognition that, that spirit deserved to be brought back to life. And that's what we're trying to do with the brand.
Now, to bring it back, I conclude you to go and find examples of the original Swickstill.
Yes, we have. We've found a few examples of shirts, pants, polos, and all that. But we've also found an enormous treasure trove of photographs, black and white and colors, and that's been immensely useful for us to recreate a range of merchandise that we bring to people.
Now, in days past, it was worn by a lot of famous drivers, wasn't it?
It was almost as seen as a proof of your status as a driver. If you wore the gear, then you were a proper driver. And so, yes, we were fortunate enough to be able to find pictures with all the Argentinians, of course, Fangio, Gonzalez, and Maimon, and all, Maimon father and son, and also a lot of the European drivers who were just too happy to be associated with the Argentinian racing team.
Now, I got told a long while ago that it came to popularity. Fangio was wearing it, and then he used to take spare ones to the circuits and hand them out to the other drivers.
Well, he would do that, and also I think, after a while it became a sort of promotional tool for the brand in Argentina to be the universal brand at the track, and it built a reputation for being the sponsor of Formula One drivers. And he was originally the sponsor of the Argentinian racing team when they came over to Europe as the Armada, and after that, it was a status symbol to be seen in Swickstill because it meant you were a true driver.
What does Swickstill mean?
Originally, it was founded by a Russian immigrant, Solomon Rudman, and I think he was trying to convey the idea of quality when he created the brand, and he called it Swiss Textile, which combined turned it to Swickstill.
And today, where we are now, we're just opposite your stand here at Le Mans. It generates an incredible amount of interest.
Well, I think because, again, we are very faithful to an idea of racing in the past that was a lot more glamorous than what things turned out to be today, where values have been lost and character has been diluted. We hark back to a time when you could look up people and really be proud of what they were doing. It was some sort of energy, as I think, brought people to the moon. That sort of no limits, playing for more.
Now, currently we have polo shirts of short sleeve, long sleeve, jackets, bags, and various other items. What else is due to be added to the Swickstill range? What have you discovered in the old range that you have yet to bring back?
Well, there's a lot more, but we keep it secret to keep the interest high. We can't disclose yet. Otherwise it loses the excitement.
But are there other things in the pipeline, in the Swickstill pipeline?
Of course. It's and we always bring new colours as well, so that you don't get the feeling that mummy dressed you up, and you can have any colour you want, provided it's black, kind of thing. We try to bring, a range of colours that people can choose from. Yes.
Now, as regards all this, I mean, you're based in Hong Kong. That's where you live. How does it work? Do you come to Europe often, or can you do it all from your base in Hong Kong?
Well, it's I'm not just a man from Hong Kong. I love to come to events, both Europe and the US, and I try to make it as efficient as possible. So now, for example, I've come to Europe and I'll be there for the whole summer and go to the US from here, rather than go back to Hong Kong and then fly to the other side of the world. So we try to cover the grounds, and we also have a distribution network with distributors in our main markets, such as the UK, France, Germany, the US, and Benelux, and these people also are very active in promoting the Swickstill brand at various events around their network and territories.
And one thing that's unusual is, unlike a lot of companies where the man, the CEO and things like that, people never get to meet them. I mean, you're unusual in the fact that you come to events like Le Mans and the man behind the modern Swickstill is here for people to talk to.
Well, I think it's also probably a different scale. But the reality is I love being at these events, and it'd be a poor exercise for me if I didn't like the activities that go around the brand. It'd be a shame, and I wouldn't want to be faking it. I actually enjoy these events.
Now, you're a motor racing fan, we know. What is the era of motor racing that interests you the most?
Pretty much the post-war, early 50s till late 50s, really, when the standards were the beginning of Formula One, but the sportsmanship was at its utmost, and you had great speeds, incredible machines, but also people and character that got lost somehow later on when the power of money and structuring got into the way.
And PR, public relations and media and everything else. Drivers now can't answer a question without it being approved by somebody.
There's that too. But again, no. I mean, the idea that you could do a race like the Mille Miglia and go like Sir Sterling did at 100 miles an hour for 10 hours straight is just incredible. That notion that now you have 3 or 4 drivers per team at Le Mans. I mean, there used to be 2, and it was still 24 hours anyway. And
sometimes it was one driver. One guy would have and he'd drive a lot of it.
Well, no, they had a rule about you had at least 2 drivers, and then they had a rule about what the minimum stage was and all that. But yes, because they reacted to things. But yes, it was at some point only one driver. I think it was Chinetti, right, who did almost the whole thing by himself. Incredibly, I mean, character.
If somebody wants to find out more about Swickstill, what is the website, etc.?
Well, it's swickstill.com, but we also have a website in different languages in different markets, so it's pretty easy to find out. And then we're also present on social media, where we cover a lot of the things and the activities where we participate. Yes.
Vincent from Swickstill, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure chatting to you, and it is a pleasure to represent the Swickstill brand in the UK and elsewhere.
Well, we're very proud that you're doing it, Mark. Thank you for doing that.
I'm here at Classic Le Mans 2023 with Mark Andrews of European Driving Tours Limited. Mark, welcome to the Backseat Driver.
Hello.
Now, besides arranging European driving tours, as the name implies, you're also doing one or two other things. But just talk us through European driving tours and the other things that you're doing.
Thank you. Well, European Driving Tours is a business that's been going for 20 years now. It's a great job. People say it's not a job, but it is. But we take small groups across Europe, Pyrenees, Italian lakes, and then we go further afield as well into Scandinavia and Croatia, and we have a great time generally. But one of the things that we sort of realise is we go to a lot of circuits, because people that come on our tours tend to have an affinity with cars and racing, and it's a common interest for most people, so we'll visit circuits and memorials at circuits. And we see lots of memorials of drivers like Fangio and, Mike Hawthorne even at Goodwood. But one of the things that crossed my mind was that there were no memorials for one of Britain's greatest racing drivers, a guy called Peter Collins, who many of your listeners may not have heard of, but some I'm sure will. Peter could well have been Formula One world champion in 1956, but as was the case in those days, you could share cars, and he was in the same team as Fangio, and Fangio's car broke down, and to cut a long story short, Peter came into the pits and voluntarily handed his car over, thus handing the championship to Fangio. In 1957, Peter drove for Ferrari, and in 1958 he was very high up in the World Championship, but sadly died at the Nürburgring. And it was at the Nürburgring that we first had the idea of creating a memorial to Peter, because we'd travelled all over Europe. We'd travelled around Peter's home area of Kidderminster, been to some of the sites associated with him, the pubs that he drunk at, and places he went with Mike Hawthorne.
Because that's one thing you can say. Back then, they were proper drivers, weren't they? They enjoyed a pint, amongst other things.
They did indeed, and Peter and Mike were great friends. Wolfgang von Trips, another driver who I'm quite passionate about, they were all big buddies. They drove hard, but after the racing, they enjoyed their lives as well. And Peter married an American actress called Louise King, and they met. And after 2 days they were engaged, and after a week they were married. They met in Miami. And they were the posh and becks of their day, if you like, the celebrity couple. And unusually for Enzo Ferrari, Enzo sort of accepted Louise, and he gave them both an apartment in Maranello, which was unheard of because Enzo didn't like his drivers to be married. He thought it took the edge off their driving. And then a little later, Peter and Louise went to live on a houseboat in Monaco Harbour. So they really were the celebrity couple. And when he was asked about giving his car to Fangio, Peter said, at the end of the day, I'm only very young. I've got plenty of time to win the World Championship. And of course, that never happened. He helped Mike Hawthorne get to the World Championship in 57. And then, as I said, sadly died in 58. So now we're raising funds for a memorial, two in fact. We're having a bronze bust on a plinth at Shelsley Walsh, which was Peter's first circuit hill climb that he drove on. It was his local track. The first couple of times he applied to join the hill climb, Peter was refused, and Stirling Moss was also refused because they didn't have enough spaces for them. But we have a memorial going there, which we're hoping to unveil in spring next year. And we have one going to the Nürburgring, which we're unveiling in August this year at their old-timer event. And we're looking to raise £15,000 for those two memorials. We're currently at about £12,000, so we're a long way towards that target. And if any of your listeners would like to help us with that, and I hope they will, if they went to the European Driving Tours website, just Google European Driving Tours. There's a tab at the top of there entitled Peter Collins, and it gives all the details about what we're doing. And if people would like to donate large or small amounts, then that would be most welcome. We do have some posters. We have a notable German artist called Joe Klausmann, who's donated a painting which we've sold. The original painting, but we took 100 limited edition prints of this painting, and we've got them signed by some very notable people, but in particular people that were quite close to Peter. So the artist has signed it, obviously, and Peter's niece, a lady called Deborah, has signed it. But we've also got Hans Hermann, and Hans is the oldest remaining Formula One driver still alive that was driving in Peter's day, and he was actually driving at the Nürburgring the day Peter died. So he's signed these posters along with David Piper, and David was driving at the Nürburgring that day. Another Formula One driver famous for driving his green Ferraris, and also Howden Ganley, who drove for BRM in the 70s. And the nice thing about getting Howden's signature, he ties in with Peter because Peter also drove for BRM, but Howden, BRM is a Lincolnshire team, and I come from Lincolnshire, so that sort of squared the circle for us. But these posters have become very sort of attractive to people. We've got about 17 left at the moment. So again, if anyone wants one of those, we give one of those for any donation over £100. And as I say, they've become quite collectible. But that's certainly helped us get as far as we've got so far with this memorial campaign.
Mark Andrews, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. And as you said, anybody who wants to get involved, have a look at it. They need to visit all the W's, europeandrivingtours.co.uk. You can get involved with the tours, the memorials and everything else. But, as I've just said, from here at Classic Le Mans 2023, Mark Andrews, it's been a pleasure chatting to you.
Thanks, Mark, and you too.
I'm here at Classic Le Mans 2023 with Arnaud Faure. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. Thank you.
With a stunning 1923 Chenard Valcher. Tell us a little bit about the car.
The car is from 23. It's the oldest car in the event, I think. And Chenard and Walker is the trade which win Le Mans 1 century ago, and with one car is in the Museum of Le Mans, which is supposed to be the winner. Another one, which have been second one, and this one, which is the normal car. The other are sports. This is a regular car, and it finished in the 7th place.
How long have you owned it?
5 years. 5 years for restoration and to complete the car for this day.
And do you enjoy racing it at Le Mans?
Yes, it's magical. I'm very, very proud to be here, and I think we will spend some very good moments with my team, and specifically in the Unodier during the night, alone with a car which is a century car.
And driving around with those headlights.
This car is conform with the headlight of the epoch of this year, and in 1 century ago you have to have electric headlight. Which is new, and we have a sort of headlight which is acetylene, which is not functional today for security reason. But we have to have two different headlights in 1 century ago.
But all the effort's worthwhile when you're out on the circuit. Everything you work, all the work, all the preparation. Everything is worthwhile when you're out there. When you're out on the circuit, when you're racing the car,
yes.
all the effort of looking after it is worth it. It is worth everything to get the car back out on the circuit.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. A lot of months to prepare it, and it's a very difficult race for a century car. Very difficult.
I know. Thank you for joining me on the Backseat Drive. Rarely beaten on price, never beaten on service. Whether it's cars, bikes or commercials, Hoddy Tyres are the best in the business. And when it comes to tyre expertise and advice to supplying the correct tyres for your vehicle's specific requirements, nobody comes close to David Lakin and the Hoddy Tyres team. So give them a call on 01200 613 192 or visit the website at hoddytyres.co.uk.